If you're wondering exactly how close is Davie, Florida to Miami, well, it takes exactly 30 minutes. But today, I'm revealing the true South Florida commute. Plus, you need to stick around until the very end because I'm going to be exposing a hidden park that sits directly from one of our international airports. It's 30 acres, has an incredible view, and offers just how special this location is. My name is Anthony Spitaleri, and every single week I receive calls from out of town and occasionally out of country buyers who are looking to relocate their families to South Florida. And the absolute biggest mistake I see them make is what I call falling in to the map trap. You see, when you pull up Google Maps, Davie looks like it's pushed out west. It looks inland, and buyers assume that if they move here, they're completely disconnected from the luxury lifestyle, the fine dining, and the energy of the major cities. However, that assumption is completely false, and it's perpetuated by agents who want to sell you some shiny new condo in Brickell or Miami. Let us talk about the unfiltered truth regarding density. Yes, you can buy a beautiful home in Coral Gables, in Coconut Grove, in Miami, or in Brickell, but what you're paying is a massive premium to share a wall, to sit in endless gridlock, especially in Brickell during rush hour traffic with the bridges going up, or having neighbors look directly into your backyard. Luxury buyers are flooding into the Davie market right now because we offer the ultimate geographic cheat code. You get the sprawling acreage, you get the equestrian trails, you get great schools, and you get massive lots with, I don't want to say zero HOA restrictions, but for the majority of Davie, there are no HOA restrictions breathing down your neck. And because of our unique highway positioning, you may access or direct access to everything South Florida has to offer. You aren't exactly trading concrete for dirt, but you're definitely not going to give up your luxury lifestyle living here in Davie. Let us break down the exact logistics of going down to Miami, whether you're commuting every day for work, heading down for a business meeting in the financial district, or just driving down south to Wynwood for a Friday night dinner. Davie is perfectly flanked by Interstate 595 to the north, Florida's Turnpike and I-95 to the east, as well as I-75, I hope this all works out, to the west. You're roughly 24 miles from the heart of downtown Miami, and if you hop onto the Turnpike and take it straight south, you'll end up in the city in roughly 35 to 40 minutes. Obviously, if you try to take that drive at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, you're going to need to budget a little more time for traffic. And I want to say a little, but sometimes it's a lot, right? Honestly, but I would say on average it's going to be about 50 minutes up to an hour to get you back and forth during rush hour traffic during the weekday. Regardless of the traffic situation, the beauty of living in Davie is that you have options. You're not trapped to a single highway every single day. Like I mentioned, you could take 75 south. You can switch it up, take the Turnpike, although the Turnpike interchange where 95 and the Turnpike, they all mix together with 441 is a mess. So I would, take that with as an advisory, right? Don't just take that because you want to take it. Check the map. And then at the same time, you could also take I-95, just depending on where exactly you want to go in Miami. Now let us talk about the Miami International Airport and the massive sports culture we have down here. A lot of my clients are soccer fans or they just travel globally for business. And you might be thinking, living in Davie means you miss out on all the global events. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Just recently, in April, the brand new stadium at Miami Freedom Park officially opened right next to Miami International Airport. And this was once a golf course, but now it's been converted to this completely new area just for the stadium. And it's going to be home to the Inter Miami soccer team from Davie. You literally drop straight down the highway. You can leave your expansive, quiet driveway and be pulling into the stadium parking lot or at the airport departure lane in about 35 minutes. Let's just go with 40 to be conservative with numbers. So think about that. You're living in Davie. You not only do you get access to world-class sports, you also get access to not one, but two international airports. And that's some of the exact reasons why high net worth individuals are choosing to target Davie. But here's the absolute best kept secret about commuting from Davie to Miami. You don't even have to drive. Davie is positioned just 15 minutes away from the Brightline station in downtown Fort Lauderdale. I have clients and friends who not only drive, but they also sometimes Uber to downtown Miami, which is not technically, well, I guess technically it's downtown Miami where the station is. However, it's going to take you about 15 minutes either if you want to walk or if you want to Uber, depending on if the bridge is up in Brickell or not, to get to the financial district. Taking the Brightline, you can skip the Interstate 95 traffic entirely. They get their morning work done on the train. They step right up, not into the financial district, like I said, but they get straight to the station in Miami on the west side of downtown. And then they go about their day, and then they return home to a quiet, peaceful neighborhood. And then you simply cannot put a price tag on that kind of daily peace, efficiency, and privacy. But what if you don't need the massive scale of Miami? What if you just want incredible dining, high-end shopping, and the ocean? This is where Davie truly shines and is why I tell my clients it's the center of South Florida's universe. Davie is directly adjacent to Fort Lauderdale, so if you live off Flamingo Road or Pine Island Road, you can easily jump onto Interstate 595 heading east, and you're going to be walking in Las Olas in 15 to 20 minutes. Side note, they don't pay me to say this, but if you do love pizza napoletana, check out Pumarola, just to the west side of Las Olas, and you're going to get the best pizza from Naples ever in Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Las Olas offers some of the best culinary experiences, art galleries, and boutique shops that you can find in South Florida. You can have a world-class steak at YOLO and be back in your driveway before the food even settles. And of course, we cannot talk about South Florida without mentioning the beaches. People assume that because Davie is known for its cowboy town, equestrian roots, that you cannot dip your toes in the sand. They couldn't be more wrong. You're 20 minutes, depending on what beach you go to, Hollywood, Dania, Fort Lauderdale, Jupiter an hour and 10, South Beach about 45. But if you do go to South Beach, go early because it may take you longer to find parking than the actual drive itself. You can wake up on Saturday morning, put the kids in the car, pack the umbrella, the cooler, whatever it is, and head out to the beach by 10 o'clock in the morning. You get the absolute best of both worlds because once you finish with the beach, you can come back to your own private sanctuary. If you're an out-of-state buyer who happens to love traveling, well, you're in luck because that brings us to our next major airport and the massive local secret park that I promised you at the beginning of this video. Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport is practically in our backyard. You can get there from your house in Davie to your departure gate in roughly 15 minutes. Most people absolutely hate living near an airport, or a major airport at that. They hate the noise, the jet fuel, the consistent air traffic, ruining their peace. And one thing real quick is, let me do a quick overlay, is I'll show you exactly what the airport looks like because we can check out the jets and how they route. So we have the overlay of the airport. This one is KFLL, Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International, and you can see that the planes in the traffic pattern, what they do is they overfly Fort Lauderdale, they go north, they go just west of I-75, right? And then what they do is they make a turn from the northwest to the southwest, and then they go east. And so roughly this is I-75. And I wish I could zoom out. There we go, zoom out. So let's zoom in to get more details. There you can see it, I-75. Right here is going to be Shenandoah area. Just in this section, right around here, I-75, is going to be Vista View Park and Griffin Road. And then they're going to take that straight on in. So this plane is actually at 1,900 feet, traveling 194 knots. It's actually arriving from JFK, from New York. This little Cessna-looking plane is going to Fort Lauderdale International Airport, traveling at 2,800 feet. So typically on the west side of Broward County. This plane is traveling again at 1,800 feet, 1,900 feet, and as it gets closer to the east, it's at 16, but it really doesn't make a descent to 300 feet right before 95, right? So then everything to the west, even to the west of the turnpike, for the most part, this section, this plane is now at 1,600 feet. So if you're living west Davie, which is, pretty much all of Davie is west of the turnpike for the most part. Actually, all of Davie is west of the turnpike, 595. So at 1,600 feet is where that plane overflies, and here's pretty much the traffic pattern that you can see for Fort Lauderdale International. And then when the plane takes off, they actually probably break around 800 feet. I have a pilot's license, but I'm not a pilot anymore. So they typically take off here, and then they will break to the north, right? Or maybe they continue to the Everglades, and then they will do the same thing because that's just a traffic pattern, the VOR, etc. So if you're a real pilot, feel free to chime in how exactly this works, flight. There's also noise restrictions, but again, in Davie, noise pollution and whatnot is not really that much of a big deal. And since we're talking about Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, let's get straight to that tucked away gem, is a place called Greenbelt Viewing Area. Most tourists and even most locals have no idea this place actually exists. It's a stunning 30-acre park built entirely into a massive berm right next to the active runways, which they just expanded the southern runway, well, not recently, but years ago. So it's actually just south of that southernmost runway at Fort Lauderdale International, or Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. And it has accessible walking paths, features parks, benches scattered throughout the park. It's great. It has a few hills if you do like to run. Maybe you can skateboard. I'm not sure, I haven't tried that. But it's a great place to hang out, bring clients, or just have a little picnic. Bring a blanket, some food to snack on, and watch the planes take off and land. It's completely free, beautifully maintained, and it's the perfect metaphor for living in Davie. You can be sitting in a lush, quiet green park, surrounded by nature, while literally touching a major international airport travel hub or anything else you'd like to do in South Florida. It's all here, all within 20 to 30 minutes of reach. If you're mapping out a move to South Florida, do not guess on your location. A bad guess means you could be trapped in an hour-long commute, completely ruining the luxury lifestyle that you work so hard to build. You need an expert to map out your routes, your routines, and to match you with the perfect neighborhood for you, your family, and your strategy. Down in the description below this video, there's going to be a link to book a one-on-one strategy call with me. We're going to audit what it is that you're looking for, your commute, and if you're curious what the pros and cons of living in Davie are, I'll link that video right here. My name's Anthony Spitaleri. I have a whole playlist of what it's like living in Davie property tours, so make sure you follow weekly, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.